Well, good morning from a very frosty Glencoe. I'm at the top end of the glen today, just at Alton Fay, looking down to Laggingarve Cottage. And the reason I'm here is there's some beautiful locations around Laggingarve Cottage. But I don't actually want to talk about locations in this video. Basically what I want to talk about is I've been having a few clients come to me who are struggling with themselves and just getting the mindset of photography. So in this vlog, what I want to do is I want to talk about great composition is all about in the mind. So come and join me. So I've got up nice and early this morning for the sunrise, and I opened the curtains, got out of bed, looked at the sky, and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely blue sky, which wasn't forecast. It said it was going to be broken cloud, but it's clear as a daisy, it really is. So what I've done is I've come up further up to the top end of the glen, and as I was driving up just past the Three Sisters, this little cloud bank was just peeking over the top, coming down into the glen. And I've carried on all the way up to the top here, and then I'm obviously, as you can see, I'm surrounded with this cloud. I can see a few of the mountains poking out. I've got Ben Acrolasti over there, which is poking out. The cottage Laggingarve is still a little bit in cloud, but if this sun comes up, hits the top of this mountain and hits the top of the bank, then I'm going to get some spectacular light, which is really going to be fantastic for a good shot. Even though I shot it quite a few times before, there's a lot of frost about, and it's kind of a different type of shot. It's the 2nd of December, so we're coming into really cold winter now, and we've not had much snow, but I will say it's been frosty for a few days now, and that's giving you this lovely white colour to everything. So while I wait for the sun to just come up, I just want to introduce the first compositional guide that's going to help you with your head here. And that is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And I quite often get people that arrive and they've got so much in their head that they're very confused of what to shoot. And it then becomes very intimidating for them. And what I mean by that is you get like, you can read the books and things like that, and you get these things like triangles and spirals and all these kind of compositional elements that sort of get in your head a little bit. And particularly landscapes, if you arrive at a location and clear your mind of everything and just look for simple elements in the landscape, you're going to get better photographs. Leading lines and foreground interest and basic things like that work really well. If you start looking for layers and triangles and things like that, it starts becoming very complicated for you, and then you get bamboozled by everything because there's so much going on that you struggle. So keep it simple, stupid. So I'm going to shoot this shot and we're going to keep it really nice and simple for us, and I'm going to clear my mind of all those extra compositional elements that goes on and people read on the books and see on YouTube and stuff like that. So while I'm waiting for this light, I've decided to put the polarizer on. It's going to help me with this water here, and it's going to give a bit of contrast. And actually, probably this is a good point to say. I did, a few weeks ago, got sent by Fconcept some filters, some magnetic filters. And I've actually been using them for about 6 weeks now, and I'm absolutely delighted with them. They don't give a colour cast or anything, so they're really good. So what I've decided to do, I got into touch with them and said they were brilliant. Their filters are really excellent, and I'm actually genuinely going to use them from now on. So what they've gone and done is only gone and sent me another box for my smaller lens. So this is a 72 size lens for me. So yeah, it's exactly the same filters I had before, but now they fit both lenses. So this is fantastic. You get the little box there, and you get the little packet as well. But just when it's really cold like this, I mean, it's -5 or 6 this morning, and trying to faff around with carriages and things like that, it's just a wonderful idea, these magnetic filters are. So check them out. And the good thing is if you put this code code in at the bottom there that I'll write down. You get a discount as well. So if you go onto Fconcept and order these, put in the discount code underneath the bottom here and you'll get a discount. So it doesn't get much more simple than this. Basically what's happening is the buckle's just coming out of the cloud, so I can just see the top of the buckle. I've got Glencoe Cottage in the middle of the shot, and then I'm going to pop some foreground in there just to give this shot a little bit of depth. I'm handheld, I'm at my, I've got my 24-70 on, so I'm zoomed right into 70, and I'm just going to get that hint of the buckle, the cottage, and the grass in the foreground, and it's as simple as that. And I'm just clearing my mind of all the nonsense of all these bits of triangles and spirals and layers and all this kind of stuff. I'm just shooting what works for me, but very simple, and that allows me to sort of clear my mind of everything else and just see that composition that works really well. So I'm going to go into portrait orientation. Simple, you can't get any simpler than that. And if this shot works, here's the shot. So what I've done is I've just moved on round a little bit, got a bit closer to the cottage. It's still looking great. The cloud is still not cleared yet, which is a bit frustrating. I can see the sun on it, so hopefully it's going to burn away some of this cloud. But yeah, I'm pretty good here. I'm on a little bit of a mound just sticking over the cottage and some good composition, and it looks amazing. And that brings me to my second compositional kind of mindset, and that is look at the whale. And the reason I say that is I had a client a few years ago who come on with me. We'd been on a whale watching tour in Alaska, and it was a photography thing, and the professional photographer there told him something very important which has stuck with me actually. And she said to me that he told them to make sure when you're photographing whales you look at the whales. And that's so true. You come to this beautiful landscape, look at this stunning environment I'm in right now. It's absolutely amazing. And photography is all about losing yourself in that landscape and just enjoying what you're seeing. And the problem is us poor landscape photographers, we come and we start snapping away and we forget to look at the whale. So when you arrive at a location, and obviously if the sunrise or sunset, you've got to be a bit quick, but sometimes it's best just to stop for a minute, just have a look at what's going on, kind of be a bit sort of clever in what you're seeing, but absorb the environment around you. And it creates that memory which will last for you for life, not just a photograph. So that's my second piece of advice, is look at the whale. So I've got bags of light behind me here, loads of light here, but just in front of me I'm just not getting anything at all really. There's the cottage. I don't know, it's creeping on round here, look. There's Benacalasti. That's looking good, isn't it? That's looking really nice. My danger is it's going to come off above that sort of skyline, but then the light's going to be a little bit harsh. But what I've done is I've set up a shot, and I'll show you the shot. So I'll come around to the cottage, and if I drop on down a little bit, you'll see these beautiful bits of grasses all over the place, and they kind of grow up and then they kind of spread out a little bit, so they come up and spread out, and it's really nice. So I've picked one that works really well, and then I'm coming on up, get out of the way of the dog, and then up to the cottage itself as well. There's no mountain just yet, but it's not far off actually. Another few minutes, we'll probably get it on the next shot. But yeah, so that's looking pretty good. So I've lined up a portrait shot. I have gone on the tripod here, just because I'm going to probably have to focus stack, because these grasses in the foreground are quite close to the camera. So I've put ourselves on the tripod, and we've shot about f11, something like that. Not necessarily too slow, because there's a bit of wind about, so it's about a 50th of a second. Anyway, I actually quite like this shot. It's a bit minimalist, and it's a location that I've never really been to be honest. This little mound just sticking over the top of the river Coupal there. But it works really good. So if you like this shot, here's the shot. Okay, so I've moved down under the bridge here, which is one of my favourite locations. It's still not breaking through, the sun isn't, but it's okay. I'm getting kind of minimalist sort of shots, which is not really what I shoot very often, but it's still working really quite well. So I've set a shot up here, but it actually brings me to my next concept of how to get good composition when you're getting a good frame of mind. And that is kind of mindfulness, to be honest, is clear your mind of all the noise that's going on around you, and in particular the techie stuff. A lot of clients I get come and they get so confused and concerned about all the techie stuff that they forget to look at the actual landscape itself. So when you're arriving at a location, clear your mind a bit. Arrive at a location and just think of composition. Forget all this, forget that, forget the tripod. Just concentrate on composition. Clear everything else out of your head. Once you do that, you'll get better shots and better images. And then you start then turning to the camera itself. And don't worry, this is just a tool, that's all it is. And the worst thing you can do is take a really bad photo. It will not explode in your hands if you do a setting that you're not sure about. So, and in the worst case scenario, you can just go into one of the auto settings, use aperture priority mode or something like that. Or if you're really bamboozled by it and you've got a beautiful sunrise and you're getting all panicky about the actual techie side of things, just bang it into the dreaded green auto button of doom. I mean, I'm certainly not advising you to do that on a regular basis, but if it means getting a shot and you clear your head to get the good composition, so be it. Definitely don't use the green button all the time, right enough. Yeah, this is actually a good example of mindfulness, because I'm right here now and there's some okay compositions, but this is just not grabbing me. The light is not good enough and it's just not grabbing me here. And right now I feel a bit under pressure. I feel like I've got to get a shot for you guys, and that's kind of clouding my judgment a little bit. And I kind of I've set up my tripod, I was trying to take a couple of shots, but I know in my gut it's just not working. And we all get like this every now and again, and you get into a position where you're like, it's just not going for you, just not grabbing you. And this is where this mindfulness comes in. Just clear your head of everything and then start looking at the landscape and just start picking bits that are going to work for you without getting confused with everything. So for me right now, it's just not working here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go and move locations and probably get a little bit closer to the cottage here and see if I can get a better composition. And I'm not going to feel overwhelmed or intimidated by it. It's just not working right now, and that's okay to do like that. So I'm going to move over and get another composition somewhere else. Yeah, I was just walking back from that shot and I got to here and I've seen the leading line of the track here, which is quite nice. And that brings me to my next compositional guide in terms of mindfulness, and that is have some depth, go deep. And the problem is with landscape photography is we're looking at this in 3 dimensions because we've got 2 eyeballs, but when you show people your photos, you're only looking at them in 2 dimensions. So what you've got to do is you've got to put that depth to your photograph. So think about depth in your shot and you're going to get better composition. Now there's a few techniques that helps you with that, leading lines, foreground interest and all that kind of stuff. But think of that depth, always think of the big concept of depth in your shots. So go deep. Now I like this composition, it works really well. I've got this leading line of the track going up to the cottage itself, and the frost on the trees is just spectacular, it truly is. So it's a really nice, and again, relatively simple, there's no wind, so it's handheld and a quick snap handheld, so I didn't even get my tripod out on this one, and it still makes for a really good shot. Now you will see the bunkhouse at the back here. It's a bit of an issue. I don't like it, so I am going to lose that bunkhouse if I can. So I'll lose that in post-processing. And I don't mind to do that because this shot is all about the cottage itself. Cool, okay. Well, if this shot works, here's the shot. Okay, I've moved a bit closer to the cottage now. I'm loving the frosty look of it all. It's really wintry, so it's excellent. Now, that brings me to my last concept that I want to talk about in terms of your head and composition. And that is, I feel like Louis Armstrong, you have all the time in the world. And you do, you have all the time in the world. These mountains here behind me are 420 million years old. And this cottage is about 200 years old. So things are not moving. So when you feel a bit overwhelmed by it all, just stop, take your time, sit back a little bit and think about it and try and just let your head clear of everything else. You've got plenty of time, and what you want is a few great shots, not lots of good shots. And you only need that one shot. From a shoot like this, if I get one portfolio shot this morning, I'll be absolutely delighted, and that will live with me for the rest of my life. And every time I look at that image, I'll remember where I was and what I was doing and how I felt and what I was thinking at the time I took that image. So take your time. You've got plenty of time with landscape photographers. This is so the advantage of it compared to wildlife or anything like that. You're in no rush. Enjoy it. Slow down. Take your time. So this again is a nice simple composition. In fact, I've not got anything moving, so it might even be handheld. But basically what I'm going to shoot is just the cottage. There's the cottage there. These beautiful trees here, which look amazing with all that frost on it. And maybe I'm going to pick some foreground as well. So I'll find some sort of grasses which have got those lovely ice crystals, which look amazing. They really do. So I think I've got a good composition here now. So let me get set up, and if this shot works, here's the shot. Well, that was great, weren't it? Quite a few little shots there. Some of them actually I quite like. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with the morning. Now, I hope you learned something from today. Try and sort of clear your mind and enjoy landscapes. I think the big picture would be saying, in conclusion, about enjoying the landscape and enjoying the moment and the time that you're spending in it, and clear your mind of all the other nonsense that goes on in your heads. And that way you will genuinely get better shots. You really will. Your composition, and also you'll start enjoying your photography rather than feel under pressure all the time, which is what we do in our everyday lives. And this is a bit of an escapism for us. Now, if you like what you're seeing there, do me a favour, go and down, click on the thumbs up as usual. And if you really like my content, go on the subscribe button. And if you click on the bell, you'll get a notification every time I post. It does make a massive difference if you write some comments for me. And I really like your comments, because if not, it's just me and Fern looking at a camera. So I like a little bit of feedback. So do me a favour and go and write some comments there for me, and I'll try and reply to some of them if I get time. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.